cool. Hello, hi, welcome. It's me, Woody. Welcome to a tour of my New York City super expensive, ultra innovative motion capture live streaming studio space. About 3 years ago, I quit my job to start working in the world of virtual avatars and real-time animation and streaming them. So we do projects for large software clients and for agencies and other productions. And I've wanted for the longest time to be able to take clients and give them a place where we could do motion capture, a place where we could do animation, record animation, even live stream the animation, and that's been hard to do until now. When I started, I was just working out of my apartment in a spare room that I had. I uploaded a video, I think a year ago, that was still in that space, and gave you a tour of like some of my equipment and like what I use for that stuff. But in terms of having a performance capture, I was just working out of my living room. I got into this studio space around 2 months ago, and it has been a really long process to set this up. I'm gonna show you what I've been doing in here. It's been a fascinating ride setting up a studio of my own. Things are a little rough around the edges, but I've gotten to the part where mostly everything's in place. Now the space kind of works in 3 separate stages. We have an office area, we have an open stage designated as just this wide open space, partially so that we can do motion capture. We can also do VR capture in here, which is really nice. And that space is hard to come by in New York City. This area over here is a little bit of a workshop and prep zone. So over here you can see we have our accent suits sitting nicely here. We also have 1 or 2 really cool designed yellow shirts, you know, something you may have seen around on this channel before. Over here, we have a desk that's a little bit in disarray. In fact, after this, it's about to become the source of an unboxing video for a motion capture suit that I'm reviewing today. You'll notice I keep my 3D printer over here, along with a fridge and a microwave, and those are designed to be as far away as possible from the computer. Over here on our shelf, this is still a little bit of a work in progress. Some people come in here and they ask me, hey Woody, what's going on with this thing? What is this guitar thing? It is a Rock Band 3 Pro controller, a MIDI guitar. Some of y'all have seen me build algorithms before where I'll take a MIDI input source and I'll create a real-time animation. Super cool. I've got the MOCAP here as well as the iPhone that I use with the MOCAP. Got some gloves here from the friends at StretchSense they sent over here. Got a couple of my spare suits, the Lycra suits for the studio. Got my Manus gloves. These are the Manus Meta gloves. We got some Rococo Smart gloves. Basically lots of gloves, everything we could need, and some interesting stuff you might see on this channel soon. Huge help for me has been cable organizers. Do you know how many HDMIs it takes to run a production studio? This is where I set up my VTuber streaming equipment. You may notice I have a lot of devices over here. I just want to go through them briefly and what they do. So I have 3 different computers that are set up, each altogether making up the technology I need to do high-end streams. I've got my treadmill here. I made a video previously about this treadmill, about using it for MOCAP, but I don't have a great place to put it, so when it's not being used for MOCAP, can just sit underneath my desk. I've got my 2 Elgato pedals that work with the Stream Deck system. Before you criticize my cable management, this is an active production environment and I am currently still attaching things to the whole system. I just had to record this today. I've got my PC here from Puget Systems. We've got a battery backup for everything now. This is the Chaotic Evil system. So they are all connected here by this KVM unit. This is set up with custom 3D printed brackets, so it sits right underneath my desk, so it's always there. It's connecting my Puget machine. It's connecting a Mac that is set up to run with this teleprompter. And it's also running a laptop that I also have plugged in along with a tablet. This monitor here also has access to the Macintosh. There's an iPhone here that I use exclusively for motion capture. I use it to make most of my videos. I have my Leap Motion on the table, which is what I use for most of my hand tracking. I have a 3D printed bracket that I use to connect these 2 ATEM mini boards. These are 4-channel video switchers that I can use as inputs with the rest of my devices. So they're extremely helpful for grabbing a whole bunch of different inputs, including inputs from some of the other computers that I might put back right into my stream or into an Unreal Engine environment as a virtual source. Got my Stream Deck here that runs everything in my Unreal scene. It's really helpful. I can switch cameras. I can make my character stand up and move. There's all sorts of other things along the way. I have a Rodecaster Pro 2 here, which I have a weird relationship with. It works pretty well and it's great, but the whole thing looks like a piece of candy, which is really weird because I kind of want to eat it. I have another Stream Deck over here that's talking to the Mac. It's running BitFocus Companion, which I have set up to do all kinds of things. I also have a remote setup with my producer who is able to do things to OBS and to my streams and to my Unreal scene all the way from over where he's working remotely. Also, portrait monitor because I'm a programmer and you have to. Here I've got my cinema camera. It's conveniently just sort of like sitting here hanging out. It doesn't usually sit over here, but I've been using it to shoot all the B-roll that you've been seeing. I absolutely love sticky notes. I am crazy about them. I need so many different kinds of sticky notes. Basically any project I work on, the process begins and ends with sticky notes. Over here we have some musical instruments. Part of what I wanted in this space is the ability to be able to do concerts and things. I want to be able to do live music with motion capture, to do real virtual performances. I did one of these last year myself and it was awesome. You should check it out if you haven't already. I think this is like a huge potential for bands that want to be able to do virtual stuff, either pre-recorded or live. You could do both. I'm not the world's best musician, but I have these standing nearby for the minute that I want to start setting up another virtual concert. I also have another desk here that is really basically just for work. You can see I have my little iPad mini and my 3D printed stand here. Sometimes I need to just focus and it's nice to be able to go over here. I don't know if this makes it into the video, but I recently 3D printed these little pencil caps. I love pencils and I love carrying them always, but they always stab me, so I 3D printed these caps. So thanks for coming and checking out the space. This is the Infinistash studio. This is the space where I am creating high-level avatar experiences, but also authoring motion capture assets. And if you're a company that needs those things, we should talk sometime. You can send me an email at woody@infinistash.com. And yeah, let's talk.